rather than point out that on CinemaScore it actually has a B, which puts it right in Eternals territory. So the response, you can argue how bad it has been, but it certainly hasn't been up there with what most Marvel movies have. So it'll be interesting to see how it holds up at the box office. Now, we do have some box office indications, and Cultured, I trust that you have a reasonably good grasp on the box office. Both what were the expectations going into the weekend, and how did it do towards the end here? Did it come in
before
above or
Culture
below
starts,
expectations?
Clearly, according to Box Office Mojo, this is the biggest hit in the world right now with $357 million as a total. That can't be wrong at all, is it?
I believe Valiant Renegade had something to say about that.
Did they double the worldwide?
They did this again. Remember, I can't remember what movie they did this before on, but I believe it was another Marvel movie. They added them together to make it look like a big ass number when it's like, no, that's not the true. The true number is more like the 239 is the full worldwide. I'd imagine.
Yeah, basically, what they did is instead with international, there they have put in domestic plus international, and then they have added that again for the worldwide. Whereas in reality, international is the 239 minus the 118, and the true worldwide is 239, right?
It's
which actually makes more sense because once you subtract it, it's closer like 120, which means basically split between the two, which is more like we normally see. Yeah,
but they're adding in today. They're adding in what their projection for today here because
they are.
Yeah,
I did notice that many were suddenly bringing up the 4 and the 5 day and everything like that.
Yeah,
because they're projecting it for 14 million today.
Yeah, they're trying to sit on today's numbers as that. But I'll tell you this, we as late as the Valentine's Day, right? Tuesday of last week, we were supposed to be seeing a $280 million opening for this film. They promptly reduced those things, and we've talked about it here that it was only going to bring in 250, and then they revised it again down to where it actually came out at 225. So we ended up with a real opening weekend of 225 global. It's very, very strange that you're getting these numbers reported by Box Office Pro and other places as completely misleading and disingenuous would probably be a nice way to say that. But it only did somewhere between 102 and 104 million in its opening frame domestically, and we were already seeing a substantial decrease in interest in China, where it didn't open huge, but it opened okay, and those numbers are already projected to go down. So even though this film was one of the first Marvel films to get back into China for an opening, that's timely. I'll describe it that way. The numbers are not going to be good in China, so China's not going to help this MCU film, and I think we're already seeing it head downward. We're going to see quite a substantial fall off going throughout this week, despite the fact that it's a holiday here in the United States and a holiday in Canada. I think that once we get past this Monday, this thing falls off a cliff, and it will probably be one of the worst performing MCU films that we've had outside of maybe Eternals.
Yeah, because the movie needs about when you take the budget and we of course we don't know any details here, but when you take the budget and the assumed cost of promotion into account, the movie would need somewhere between 600 million in the low end and 700 million in the high end.
Yeah,
and that's assuming it's not as expensive as Wakanda Forever.
They've said a $200 million.
$200 million.
If we go with that,
that doesn't count reshoots and everything either, probably.
No, but if we just go with the numbers that they have, then at the very, very, very lowest end, this is so low that it's probably not real. They need 600 million to break even. Probably the break-even point is closer to 700 million, and at the domestic opening of barely 100 million, and 226 million worldwide for the total 4-day opening weekend, 5 if you include Wednesday, where it opened. That's a tall order. That means it's going to have some excellent word of mouth in order to get to that point. If it has meddling words of mouth, that isn't looking too good. And also, in terms of expectation, I happen to remember this. Going into the weekend, the studio expectation was 280 million worldwide. Now, that's not what they wanted. Of course, they would have liked it to be higher, but that is what they thought it would get, reading the tea leaves. Now, the actual number is then closer to 225, 230 million. So that's an underperformance relative to expectations worldwide by 60 million, including China. So that's hardly a flying start for Phase 5, is it?
Well, basically, you're looking at it has to do anywhere between 3 and 4 times what it's done its opening weekend in its entire run now. There ain't no way it's going to be able to do that. I mean, we never had high expectations for this movie anyway, but I believe the studio had higher expectations in this. And as we pointed out, they were already hedging the headlines early on, right? Because the original projections for this film were pretty high. And then they brought it down and down and down and down and down. And it settled around 105 million for the actual weekend proper, right? Culture, that's the actual number.
Say that one more time.
105 is the actual number for the weekend in the U.S., right?
Yeah, actually, there's an argument about whether it's 102 or 104, but yeah, I think they're
okay. Well, we'll give them the benefit of the doubt with 104 then.
Yeah.
So even still, they're trying to. That's the thing, is they're trying to make it look like a bigger, like the only thing the headlines can claim is that it's the biggest opening for Ant-Man, basically.
Yeah,
that's it.
Ant-Man film.
That's all they can do. And I mean, you guys are right. The critics are killing this. It's getting a cinema score of a B. And I know that doesn't sound bad, but for those who don't know, that is bad for a cinema score. Because usually it's like in the A minus percentile for good movies. If it hits a B, then that means there's something wrong.
Yeah. They're pulling out all the stops. And again, it's the fact that they're already leaning into the 4-day. The fact that they're trying to, lean into those tactics, is already telling. You can always tell when they are seeing a film underperform and they're trying to artificially hold it aloft. I have a feeling that they're going to be surprised next weekend when Cocaine Bear gives this film a run for its money in its second weekend.
I already have my tickets for Cocaine Bear. I'm seeing it on Thursday.
Yeah.
And then I'm seeing Chrissy Mayer in concert in Pasadena.
Ooh. Nice. Very cool.
So, there you go. Yeah, Cocaine Bear. Well, first of all, by the way, don't get too excited about Cocaine Bear. One, there's a screening of the movie for critics the day before it opens on Wednesday. Additionally, the embargo to talk about it, if you choose to go to that screening, is 1 p.m. on Thursday. I've never heard of an embargo to that late in the game. That is not a good sign.
It's usually not a good sign, but this is a critic-proof film. But go ahead, Andre.
The Tranktastic 4.
Yeah, that's true. I remember that.
I think Ghostbusters had a pretty late one too.
Yeah,
there's been a few over the years, but here's the thing with that, Chris, and you're probably right. With the critics, they're not going to like this movie. Doesn't matter.
Also, look, I've seen the trailer. I already know it's a stupid movie. I know what I'm getting into. When I go to eat fast food, I know what I'm getting into. Okay, I'm not. It's not filet mignon. It's In-N-Out, but In-N-Out is just fine, and that's what Cocaine Bear is. It's a fast food movie you're going to have a good time with an audience. You're not going to see a good movie. Like, I already know that going in, and look. That's my review of Cocaine Bear, and I haven't even seen it.
Well, here's the thing. Probably very accurate, because there's nothing about it that says this is going to be a good movie. It's just going to be a silly bunch of weird stuff going on with a bear and these people in a very contrived plot.
Ray Liotta's last film.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and as I was going to say, they're actually projecting it now at around a high end, about $36 million for the opening weekend.
I bet it didn't cost that,
Well, here's the thing is what happens, and I brought this up last week too, but what happens if that movie actually bumps Ant-Man off the top spot for its second weekend. Yes.
I don't see that happening. I think
it could.
I think Ant-Man will be number one, but it'll have a significant drop. Significant. So there you go.
I say never on that, but we'll see here. I have a feeling it'll come neck and neck at the end of the weekend. They'll be like, maybe Cocaine Bear did take the number one spot. The only thing that Ant-Man has going for it is it has all the big screens. That's the thing. Kind of like with Megan. Like I'm still convinced Megan would have made more its opening weekend had it more screens to open up on. Because I had talked to some people and they were complaining about it too. It's like, yeah, we got Avatar and their two biggest screens and nobody's in the theater, but we got Megan selling out.
I'm looking forward to Cocaine Bear. So when I see it on Thursday, I'm going to be really excited to talk about it on Comics' show Thursday night.
Puss in Boots only took a 5% drop according to somebody in the chat. Is that true, Culture?
A soft drop? Let me look.
It said 5%. Wow. And that movie's on video on demand, and it's still playing in theaters really well.
Well, only goes to show that if you have a really good movie, people will want to see it on the big screen, even if you have the small screen alternative.
Well, the thing is you're probably right, Chris, because Cocaine Bear is rated R. But can you imagine the heads that would roll come a week from now, Monday morning, if Cocaine Bear does happen to dethrone Ant-Man on its second weekend?
Well, I will say this. I'm very excited that they're giving away free gummy bears to anyone who buys a ticket to Cocaine Bear while supplies last at AMC theaters.
Are they laced with cocaine?
Ooh.
Possibly.
Sweet. That means there's a chance.
Yeah. No, it's going to be that German brand that if you ate too many, it became a laxative.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Those reviews on Amazon are brilliant.
I thought that was just the sugar-free ones.
What is it?
Haribo? Haribo, I think they're
Haribo.
pronounced.
I mean, see, they should be giving away those, and then they say, but please don't overdo it.
Have one at the start and one at the end, and then go to town when you get home.
You'll never make it through the film.
I thought that was just the sugar-free ones. Oh,
the sugar-free ones, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I was going to say, I just ate a whole bunch of the real ones.
Some kind of their own sugar-free product.
Substitute that's also a laxative.
Yeah, in some of those reviews, I think after a while, people were just making some up. Yeah.
What? The internet making stuff up?
The script is right.
To read.
They are very entertaining to read. But something that wasn't so entertaining, it seems like, was Ant-Man this weekend, I guess. And I know it's tough sitting here going, oh, a movie that made $100 million is underperforming. But guess what, kids? A movie that made $100 million is underperforming, because at the end of the day, making the $600 to $700 million this movie needs to make, and even to match the first two films, it's going to be a tall order. And it even has inflation and some other things on its side here. I mean, really, Chris is right. Cocaine Bear shouldn't be any competition for this movie, but it's going to be.
I remember when a movie hit 80 million, and that was like a monstrous hit.
Yeah, well, they cost less to make back then.
Yeah, I don't think Cocaine Bear is going to be. I don't think it's going to be an issue. I think it's a totally different market from Ant-Man. But I think that I think when it comes to Marvel, what the audience has been trained is, if they want to avoid spoilers, they need to, they've got to see the movie quickly. They've got to see it soon. They got to see it first weekend.
Yeah, it's all front loaded is what you're saying.
Well, and I don't know about not being the same audience. As a whole, maybe, but there's a lot of 12-year-old boys who are also probably going to be interested in seeing Cocaine Bear, Chris. They're not going to be able to go in and see it without paying for another ticket, but yeah.
I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure how much movies like that. Like, I know when I was a kid, sneaking into an R-rated movie was kind of a big deal, like going to see Animal House or something like that.
Let's just say I actually know somebody who's 17 who has said they're going to do just that.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah.
First of all, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's kind of a rites of passage, maybe a more innocent one. Get into an R-rated movie. They do check ID at the door, but, they don't check ID when you walk into the movie theater. So you can get a ticket for another movie. You could get a ticket for 80 for Brady. And then you could just go see Cocaine Bear.
I can't remember. Like last year when he went to see Scream, I think it was Spider-Man. He got a ticket for.
Yeah, let me also suggest that when you get a ticket on your phone or device that has one of those QR codes, they don't know how old you are when you bought that ticket, and they don't.
I've noticed that too. That's a good point.
No, they check ID though at the door for R-rated movies. So
I've never seen them do it, but it's possible.
Yeah, I've never had that happen.
Yeah, well, at the theater I go to, they check your ID just to make sure it matches that your account with the QR code matches who you are. They always do.
Yeah, but you're also in California where everybody's breaking into your car right now as you speak.
Yeah,
dude, the crime is out of control. I can't deny it. Like downtown Los Angeles is a shit show, and even up Wilshire Boulevard, it's god awful. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.